Welcome to Ask the Experts. I'm Rachel Landry, and today I'm joined by my colleague Jeff Hatzel, a product manager here at the company. Today, Jeff will be talking to us about the InfoTips tool in Global Mapper. All right, Jeff, take it away.
Hey, Rachel, thanks for having me today. I thought I would talk about one of my favorite little tools in Global Mapper, and one that I always go out of my way to talk about when I'm teaching a training class or something like that. So when I work in Global Mapper, whether I'm doing some testing, working with customer data, or any other workflow, I very often want to see information right at my cursor location, dynamically and as I'm interacting with features and data. While some of our users, I'm sure, are familiar with the feature info tool, where we click on the map and we see a pop-up of information about whatever we clicked on from the topmost layer. Sometimes what I want is a quick overview, perhaps for multiple layers, and that's where InfoTips comes in. So if we take a look at my workspace here, I have imagery, a terrain layer, and then a vector layer, isobath, or a depth contour, we might call that, all loaded into this workspace. And while I'm working with this data and reviewing it, I want to quickly be able to see some information about what's under my cursor without having to click on anything, turn layers on or off, or anything else like that. And so what I'm going to do is set up my InfoTips. From the View menu here, you'll see that there are two options, both enabling InfoTips and then configuring them. So I'm going to start by configuring them. And then in this window, I can also enable them here. So I'll turn them on. And I can choose a variety of settings in regards to what I want my InfoTip to show. I like to show my cursor location as latitude, longitude. This can be done in projected units as well if you choose. I just like to have it set to lat long. I'm going to skip including a layer name for now, but this is an option as well if you want to see a certain layer's name. I can control what I see from raster layers. And so in this case, I'm going to choose, I think what we'll do here is have my elevation shown from any terrain layer. I could display this as an average, a 3x3 pixel average around my cursor if I wanted to. And maybe I'll show RGB values for the imagery that's loaded. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm showing information from all layers so that anything that overlaps, I'll see all that information. We have a few settings here dedicated to vector data as well. I'm just going to include the feature label now, but if we wanted, we could make a custom string with any custom text here. I can pull from attributes. So you can really show quite a lot, and it's very customizable here. I'm not going to do that now, though, so I just need to make sure I uncheck this box here when we go ahead now and begin to look at things on the map.
Jeff, are all these settings you just applied permanent or temporary after a user sets them or closes the app?
Oh, that's a good question. So these are going to be permanent, and we can think of them as like an app configuration level setting. So when I set this, anytime I close or reopen the application, those settings will remain. And again, they're dynamic. We'll see shortly, right? So if I don't have certain data loaded, I'm not going to see, if I don't have any imagery, I won't see any imagery information. And they can always be toggled on and off right from the view menu. Now, so whenever I pause here, my cursor on the map, I get a pop-up, and that's showing the information that I just specified back in that menu. My latitude, longitude, the RGB of the image, and the height of the terrain layer underneath it. If I place my cursor over the vector feature here, you'll see that I also get the feature label, which in this case is just the elevation of that isobath line. So now, as I move my cursor, we'll see the information update as I pause and move it around the map here. So that's about it for InfoTips. Just a handy little tool to dynamically get us some information quickly and easily while we're working in the application.
Jeff, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know that our users will find it very useful. To learn more about Global Mapper, please visit bluemarblego.com today. And as always, we hope that you'll join us for our next episode of Ask the Experts.